Grace and welcome to my channel and welcome to the May edition of For the Love of Crafting and Sharing YouTube blog hub video. So before I go on with my layout, I just wanted to share with you kind of my plans and the products that I am planning on using. So our theme or our prompt for this month is flowers. Now I know I used paper flowers for April, and so I was kind of thinking, okay, I need to do flowers again, but what am I gonna do? And I remembered I have a bunch of these kinds of flowers. I don't know if they are paper flowers but they're the flower accents, and I have a bunch. I have small, medium, large, and I wanted to kind of focus on the medium because I do have, small, because I have a lot of them. I put them, let me show you where I put them. I have this kind of container that I got from Harbor Freight, and they're just these kinds of containers and they just stack on top of each other. But as you can see, I have a ton of small flowers that I need to use up. So my plan is actually to create kind of a flower border around my page, and this is going to be, I usually create let me move these things around. I usually create a kind of front page for each of my family albums. So if it was 2018, I have a front page kind of telling the reader that you are going on into the events from that year. So that's how I organize my layouts. And so I always need kind of that front page for every year. And I was kind of behind, but now I've done up to 2016. I believe up to 2016. I might be missing some, but I have done up to 2016, and so now I'm going to do 2017. And one of the things that I like about making this front page is that I could use up some leftover photos from that year. And so I have some photos here. Some are 4x6, some are 3x4s. And these are just random photos, extra photos from that year. And so that's what I'm going to do. And my idea was that I was going to put all of my photos in the center and then have my flower be the frame around it. Now I was going through my stash and kind of organizing my papers, and I have this Craftsmith paper from Michael's that I bought during Hot Buy. Usually when they have Hot Buys, they're like $5 for a paper pack. And this is a weekday type of or theme, and so I'm just going to flip through it. It's single-sided, but you do have two of each one, and then it has just these week type of designs. And so I guess if you are like doing kind of weekly stuff, you can. And then a few papers that have like motivational things in them, and so it has the name of the week, and then it has these things that you can cut up, which is good. I've done that before, but really I feel like I really like this border, so I don't know if I'm going to be able to incorporate that with my layout. And then it also has these gold kind of foiled paper too, which is kind of nice. And but I don't use them because I don't do this kinds of layouts, or I don't have a planner. I don't intend of doing, I do have planners, but I don't like, make it pretty and all that stuff. So I'm thinking I'm going to use this because mostly I really need like a good background. So I'm thinking like I can use maybe this, and then I'm going to use another paper to cut out like a frame around it, so that where my flowers are going to rest, and then my photos will be in the center. And maybe if I have some room, I could maybe do like cut up some of these things and add it to the layout. So anyways, that is my plan. I hope that you guys will follow along, and let's continue, or let's start making this layout.
Alright guys, so let's get going with this. For some reason, the footage that I have of starting the process was not recorded. I think it was because my battery was already dying and I did not even realize it. But I did try out in the beginning the way where I wanted to have the flowers in the frame. And I started with that, but the problem was that it just felt a little too busy for my eye. It just seems like there was just too much going on and it was just not working for me. So what I did was I kind of configured it and I moved all of the photos to the left side of the photo, or of the layout rather, and then put in a block of pattern paper. And then I decided that to pull out those flourishes that I created, those handmade flourishes that I created for a try it out in, I think it was in the month of March. I will make sure to link that in the description box below if you want to check it out. But still, with the flourishes, there was just too much. I hate to say this, but there was just too much flowers and it was just not working for me. And I am now kind of realizing that, yeah, flowers and we are not good together anymore. Like, that's not my thing anymore. And so it's actually kind of a good thing that I am doing this layout, because I'm realizing some parts or some products that I have in my stash that I no longer kind of care for. So as you can see, I have my kind of flourishes that I used Nuvo drops with. I have that on the side because I was trying it out and it's eventually not going to work out. And then I decided that maybe I could put back the gold paper that I was wanting to use, and then cut some circles with that, and then kind of encircle that shape with some flowers. So that's what I'm going to end up doing with this layout, and I like that better. Honestly, I could care less with the flowers now that I look at the layout, but it is what it is, and that is the challenge for this month. So I still urge you to, if you are so inclined, to try out the challenges with us and see and kind of, use up that stash, because I did need it. I did need this particular challenge because I don't ever touch my stash, and there's a good reason for that. But it's all good. So now I'm just kind of configuring where my photos are. I did have to take out one of the photos just because there wouldn't be much room. There would be room if I just put all of the photos there and not worry about having a block of paper to the left side of my layout. But again, the whole idea of framing this pattern paper with flowers was just a little too busy for me. So now I'm just adhering that, and I'm trying to see that space that's between the photo with the canoe and then the photo of our kids. I am intentionally leaving that space because there was a piece of paper or a strip of paper from one of the pattern papers here in this particular group or particular pack that I really liked, and that's going to be kind of my quote unquote title. There's really no title here because it is a album beginner or album opening page, front page, however you call it. And so there's really no title. I guess the title would be the date itself, but the year itself. But I will be putting that just because I thought that it was pretty cool. So I am cutting this pattern paper and I'm going to put that on the side. But before I adhere it, I need to put my circles in there so that I can trim the excess. It'll be easier for me to trim the excess of the circle when that pattern paper is not adhered versus when it's adhered. So I'm just kind of auditioning which circles that I want to use. And that's that long strip that I was telling you about. I thought that it was kind of good to use, especially with a year opener, because it's like you're welcoming a new year. The year hasn't started yet, so when it says the future is bright and waiting for you, I thought that it was kind of appropriate for beginning another year. So that I hope that you guys are liking these videos, and I hope that you have been enjoying the hop so far. If you are new to my channel, or you have stumbled upon this video through my channel, this is part of a hop that I'm doing with some wonderful and talented scrapbookers here on YouTube. We do this every month on the 20th of the month, where we post a layout with that particular challenge in mind. In May, the challenge was to use flowers, and so I pulled out some of my paper flowers and little tiny ones, and that's what I'm using here. I think we're now, there's 16, 17 of us, and if you are looking for the lineup, you can always click on the description box below, because all of them would be there, starting off with Nicole, which is Coley being here on YouTube, and then me, and then it just goes on throughout the lineup of the ladies. And so I strongly encourage you guys to check all of them out. We are all scrapbookers. We're all passionate about memory keeping and paper crafting, but then what's fun is that we all have different styles. Some people only make double pages, some people single pages, some people make multi-photo layouts like me, others do single photos, some are technique driven, some do all sorts of paintings and mixed media, while others focus on papers. And so it's just really fun. I watch them every month, of course, and I just get inspired by everybody's layout. So I encourage you to check all of them out. Now, going back to the layout, this is what I end up doing with my flowers. I don't use up as much as I hope, but I would, but it's totally fine. I feel like the amount that I did use was good enough for me. But again, it was kind of an eye-opener, because I realized some of the things that, like products that I don't care for anymore, and these tiny flowers were one of them. Now, I am not going to give them up, just because when I make layouts that just needed just a tiny bit of flower, they do have a purpose. But as far as, like, throwing a bunch of flowers on one layout, that is just not my thing anymore. Another thing that I enjoyed about this particular layout was that I feel like flowers are not complete without centers, and that's where I had the most fun, was that I was able to pull out some rhinestones, some brads, some different kinds of little embellishments, and use that as the centers of my layout. And you're going to see that in a little bit. Now, I remembered somebody, and I'm sorry I forgot your name, but somebody had mentioned that for a future mini series, they would like to see me use some embellishments as kind of the jumping point for layouts, and I will definitely do that, just because when I was doing this layout, that it did remind me that I have embellishments that I don't use or that I don't utilize as much. And so you will see me do that, not in May, because I just did a mini series, but probably in July or something. So here I'm showing you that I grabbed some buttons, and they are really tiny blue buttons, and then I threaded them with some pink twine. And I gotta say, threading the twine through the tiny holes of the button was a pain, and that's why I only did 3. But it actually was good, because then that created kind of like the visual triangle that I was going for. But then I pulled out a few more other things, like these brads, and then I'm going to use like a chipboard circle from that pack that you see on the left side of the screen, and then a bunch of rhinestones. And so I was able to use up a few things. Oh, and also some enamel dots too. So this might be a good way for you to use up some little bobs and dots and pieces that you have lying around is that if you wanted to, you can use them as centers for your flowers. So basically, that's how my layout is going to end. If you like these videos, please consider giving it a thumbs up and subscribing. If you are new to my channel because of the hop, welcome. I am a passionate scrapbooker and paper crafter. I do some cards on, and you will see that in some of my videos. I just love paper. That's basically what it is. So if you like videos with scrapbooking process videos, some organization, some tips, and some cards, then I hope that you will stick around and you will subscribe. And if you have any questions, make sure that you leave it in the comment section below. So here I am just finishing up again the centers of my layouts. I pulled a bunch of rhinestones, and as you can see, the rhinestones that I specifically choose are the ones that have been used up because I do want to finish it off. And I think I end up finishing off a couple of sheets here, and that makes me really, really happy. So this is kind of like a combination of April and May, wherein I used up scraps, and which are scraps, meaning my scraps here are the enamel dots and rhinestones, and I also use some flowers. And one thing to note that I am doing here on this, when I am putting the finishing touches for the flowers, is I try not to put the same color together. So like if I put a green enamel dot on one circle, I try to put the other one on maybe the top circle if I had it on the bottom. So here I'm just kind of figuring out, well, where's the other piece of it, so that I make sure that I don't put it right next to each other. And then I decided to add some rhinestones to the top left and bottom right. And that is my layout. I do have some still shots here, and also some other layouts or videos that you might want to consider checking out. Thank you so much for watching, and I will catch you guys another day. Bye!